have to say jump when you jump.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Cantor. Ooh, well, talk to Shazi first.
You're good. What if you know pronounce this name? I would say Kato, but that's bad.
Cantor K.
Yes.
Before we
Rabbi
start,
Zaslow.
do you know how to pronounce this name?
I'd say Kaidano.
Not K.
Either way, probably. People are used to hearing their names pronounced wrong. A funny name like it's okay to know Kaidano. I don't know what it is. I've never heard it.
Good. Okay. Great. As long as it's not.
The light's on already. It's not even. We still have 3 minutes left.
Okay, but that means we're live.
I know.
Okay, just so you know. Oh, Vadia knows.
Vadia knows everything.
My gosh. When he does that, he's just like Sheeran.
We have 2 books. Actually, I think
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We invite you to grab a seat, to grab a prayer book. We'll begin in just a moment on page 12. Just a moment.
Page 22.
Page 24.
ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. יירם הים, יירם הים, יירם הים ומלואו. 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 ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים,
ותגל הארץ.
Page 26.
אור זרוע לצדיק, אור ישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק, אור ישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק, אור ישראל שמחה. אור ישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק, אור ישראל שמחה. אור ישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק, אור ישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק, אור ישראל שמחה.
Page 28.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות בקול שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני. יירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נהרות שמחה וחג יחד, הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קהילה, קהילה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט הבל בצדק, ועמים במישרים. יירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נהרות יזבח יחד, הרים יעלנו.
Page 30.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקדשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקדשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
Page 34.
מזמור לדוד,
אבו לאדוני בנעלים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, כל אדוני על המים, אל הקודש.
וישבר אדוני את ערבי הלבנון, ויקדם כמו עגל לבנון וסריון כמו בן ראמים בן ראמים. קול אדוני קוצב להבות אש, קול אדוני יפיל מדבר, יפיל אדוני מדבר קדיש, קול אדוני יחולל איילות, ויפץ סוף יערות, וכולו כולו מכבוד, כולו אומר כבוד, כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למה הוא ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, את עמו, את עמו, את עמו בשלום. Thank you to my daughters, Rachel and Tova, and of course, assisted by Tova's son, Ovadia, and Mrs. King on the piano. And all those people out there.
Song or cottage? Song or cottage?
Sing with me, Avad. How sweet it is to come together and sing a song in the praise of God. Ine matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, umevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, umevorach. Did you say Shabbat shalom, everybody? Go ahead.
Shabbat Shalom, Ovadia.
Thank you, Ovadia.
We pause now as we remember with reverence the yahrzeits of our beloved departed, which are observed until sundown tonight, the 27th day of Tammuz. Norma Levin Friedman, Morris Goldstein, Herbert Mahmoud, Mitchell Penn, Rose Sandell, Irvin Schaefer, Ruth Siegel, Alvin Simon, Theodore Smith, and Morris Zlotowitz. Zecher Tzadik Libracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessings into all of our lives, and to that we say Amen.
Amen.
And in solemn testimony to the unbroken chain of faith which links us lador vador from one generation to the next, we invite those who are currently in a period of mourning and those who are observing a yahrzeit to please rise for the mourner's Kaddish. We can all turn to the mourner's Kaddish on page 124, page 124. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divra chirutei, ba'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'emru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam v'amei almaya. Yebarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shmei tekudcha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'emru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emru Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. We turn back to page 38 for Lecha Dodi. 38.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Shamol v'zakol b'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'lithilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu benelcha, ki hi mekol habracha. Merosh mikedem nesuka, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tekilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Page 40. Yominu smol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taritzi, al yadish ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ma'ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzohala. Toch emuneh am segula, boi kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. Pene Shabbat nikabela. Pene Shabbat nikabela. Nikabela.
standing, and we pause now to extend condolences from our congregation to members of our community who have been bereaved in the past week. This week, we extend our condolences to the family of the late Esther Cadenau, to the family of the late Renee Smith, and to the family of the late Peter Zimmerman. And joining together on the bottom of page 41, we say the traditional Friday night greeting for those who are entering into a period of mourning. Hamakom yanachem etchem beto sha'ar avalei Zion ve'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in your bereavement. We turn to page 50 for the Barchu.
Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
We invite up our reader to lead us in special responsive prayer on page 51. No, I thought you did. I invite up Cantor King. Do you want me to do it?
My big moment. Page 51.
Page 51.
The bottom
We'll
one?
do it back and forth, yeah.
O Lord, your word brings on the evening twilight. The heavens proclaim your glory.
And we, your creatures on earth, behold in wonder your endless miracles.
Help us to recognize your guiding power in distant galaxies and in our own souls.
Teach us your law of righteousness and love, so that your spirit may govern our lives.
Source of peace, bless our worship. May our meditations find favor in your sight.
May our gratitude for your wonders lead us in love to your service.
So that, like the changing seasons, the days, the nights, our lives too will proclaim your glory.
Amen.
ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, עמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai, amariv alaviv.
52.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, והם נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
54.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך, בכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
56.
והיה עם שמות.
And reading together in English in the middle of page 57. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm, and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you're at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night, when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land which the Lord promised your ancestors for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. 58.
ויאמר אדוני משה לאמור, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Middle of page 60.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכאן ושירה ושמחה רבה ואמרו כולם נתחמות באלים אדוני, נתחמות הנדד בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ובניך, וכהים לפני משה, זה לי אנו ואמרו, זה לי אנו ואמרו. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. We turn to page 63 and invite up Sarah to lead us in responsive English prayer.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds, which rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
Amen.
Amen.
May it be so.
Ushamor setenu vorenu lechaim ulshalom be'ata ve'ad olam Salenu sukat shlomecha baruch atah Adonai hapoleh sukat shalom alenu ve'al kol amo Israel ve'al Yerushalayim.
Page 64.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. בששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
66.
יתגדל ויתקדש ברבה ועלמא דברה כרותה וימליך מלכותה וחייקון וביום יקון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמרבם מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ועלמה ויאמרו amen.
We rise for the Friday evening Amidah, which is said personally beginning on page 69.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך גדול לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך גדול לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Page 80.
ויקולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויקל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, עליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מקיים מתים במאמרו. האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו. ביום שבת קודשו, ליבם רצה להניח להם, ליבם רצה להניח להם, לפניו לעבוד בעיניו הפקד, ונעלה לשמו בכל יום תמיד בין הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה, לעמד ושני עונג למעשה בראשית.
86.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם הבא, נלמד יוודע כדותי במליק מלכותי, בקי כל ובימי כל ובקי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברק, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתעלה 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 שמי לקודשה. ברכו לאל אמין כל ברכתה ושילתה ושבקתה ונקמתה דמידן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותו נובעתו לכל ישראל כאדם ובהון ושמיים ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה בשמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
We rise together for the Friday night Kiddush as we sanctify the day. Invite up Jane, who will be...
Oh, no.
Oh,
I
no.
defer to the, it's my pleasure to defer to you.
Very good.
Save me for another day.
You're next week. Invite up Cantor and Benny. And if you're joining us online, please raise a libation of your choice as we toast to the day, page 90.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'achata, v'iltanu kidashta, michoamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'avahu v'ratzon, hilchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Give it up, drink. No, just kidding, It's just grape juice. L'chaim. You may be seated. Well, let it never be said that I don't give sermons about sports. This is the one that is going to be about sports. I have become obsessed with the Olympics. Oh, not only with Simone and her amazing moves on the, what's it called? A balance beam, but I learned about rugby. I learned what a pommel horse was this week. And shot put, all these sports that I really have nothing to do with. I am now obsessed, and my Instagram feed is just all of these athletes, following them, and I get to live through my own Olympic dreams by watching them. Now, there's something beautiful about the Olympics, because you see like all of these countries, some of them who are at war with each other. Everybody is like hanging out in the same space, and they're eating the same salad and tofu for lunch, and then in almost all the sports that I've seen, either at the beginning or the end, the teams have to shake hands, and sometimes they like hug and they talk to each other. So there's this common sense of unity. I'm connected to all these people, and then I feel like I'm tied into it when I'm watching it at home on my computer. But there's this other side of the Olympics where it kind of lies to us in a nice way. So as I'm watching the Olympics, I start thinking to myself, I could do this. Like, what? Right? Like, I'm like, why not? Here's a woman about my size, and I see her lift 200 pounds. Like, surely, with a little bit of practice, like, I'm sure that I could. And, you know, what's like a backflip? Probably not that hard. More likely to do it by mistake than on purpose. But for many people who are watching it, and you're like, you know what? They are not so different from you or me. I am basically, brush myself off, go to the gym a few times, and I too can achieve Olympic greatness. Now, we know that as soon as the Olympics end, this kind of sheen or glory of it and the delusions that it breeds within us, we know that these kinds of things are not necessarily possible. But I watch all of these Olympians, they give these interviews, and they're like, I hope that every little girl and little boy who's watching this says to themselves, like, I can be a rugby champion. And so if you're like 38, maybe your peak has passed for being a rugby champion. But yeah, like, for those who still have time, then it's a beautiful thing. Now, one of the things that I'm always impressed with Rabbi Schwartz when he gives sermons about sports, and then he's like able to tie it into something Jewish, and I was like, I want to talk about the Olympics because I'm not really like a sports person. I know that many people are involved in sports, but the hard part is figuring out like what's the Jewish bit of the Olympics. This is an open sermon. No, I'm kidding. You'll all fill it in for me. So if we look at the Talmud, and because the Olympic Games have been going on for quite some time, the Talmud does not speak very highly of the Olympics. It kind of advises us to stay away from it. The Talmud is worried about idolatry because in the old days, there were other gods that were kind of worshipped at the Olympics, like actually worshipped. And we could say today that maybe we are concerned about a different kind of idolatry, about an idolatry that values like body over mind, or idolatry that values winning instead of, I don't know, teammanship or something. But I decided to take this sermon in another direction. I'm not going to speak about idolatry, but I wanted you to know that the Talmud not really into the Olympics. I'm not lying to my congregation. What I want to talk about is actually prayer. I think that prayer, tefillah, is similar to the Olympics. Oh, how, Rabbi Zaslow? Okay, well, when all of these athletes are being interviewed, and they talk about the amount of time that they put into their prospective sports, and even when they're not like feeling the fire of rugby that day, they show up and they participate. They show up and they put in the time. This is why all of these sports are called practices. It's not always about feeling it, but it's about doing it and doing it consistently. Even when they're waiting to go, you can see that many of them are practicing in their heads. They'll be sitting in their benches with their eyes closed, and they'll move their arms and their shoulders or their legs, and they're working through their routines and their patterns in their heads. The practice never stops. We have this in Judaism. It's this desire to cultivate practice. And we have it in prayer. We as Jews, we are instructed to pray 3 times a day. So we're instructed to pray in the evening, we're instructed to pray in the morning, and to pray in the afternoon. So that cycle of evening, morning, and afternoon makes one full Jewish day. Our sages of blessed memory, they don't say, if you feel like praying, then you should pray. They say, you should pray. You should have prayer be a practice for you. So even when you don't feel like doing it, you still show up and you encounter these words that have been said for 2,000 years. But this act of showing up and saying the words and having a practice of prayer is called keva. Keva means something that is set and solid and dependable, and that you will keep on returning to it. So prayer becomes something that is keva. It has a parallel, though, in the word kavanah. Kavanah is like the energy and the ruach and the spirit and the desire and the supplication that you bring into your prayers. That's the moment, kavanah is the moment when I say, I want to pray. Like, I want to thank God for this thing, or I want to talk to God because I need help. That's kavanah. Where does Judaism put more of an emphasis? Unlike perhaps our modern society, even Judaism today, we put more emphasis on the kavanah. Like, I want you to come to morning gratitude when the Spirit moves you to come to morning gratitude, when the Spirit moves you. But I know that this tradition that I'm a part of actually puts a little bit more emphasis on the other side, on the idea that we show up to pray, whether we feel like it or not, because Judaism believes that it's through the act of practicing, it's through that act of repetition and feeling grounded in the tradition, that the keva becomes kavanah, that what is set in stone becomes something that our spirit seeks and something that lifts up our spirit. Well, just like I could have all of like the ruach, all of the energy in the world to show up at a rugby game, if I show up today, I'm not going to do very well. Well, when we show up to prayer, if it's not such a frequent thing, then it's harder for us to connect. Oh, I want to encourage all of us to be a little bit more Olympic, to be a little bit more like the athletes that we see, and to add one more prayer practice into your week. One more evening service or one more morning service to use the words of the prayer book and to see what that practice might bring into your life, to see what kind of kavanah, to see what kind of intentionality and spirituality it might bring forth. It's just like the Olympians. If we don't try, if we don't practice, then we'll never know. Shabbat Shalom. I invite everyone to join us on page 118. 118 will rise for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדם רע, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם. ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו וגם הם מרוממים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, הגתו בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות לה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל. ועל הארץ ועל הארץ ויתוקת אלון. הכתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Pausing now, we remember with reverence the yahrzeits of our beloved departed, which are observed from sundown this evening until sundown tomorrow, the 28th day of Tammuz. Harry Bass, Alfred Davis, Jerome Gillison, Solace James, Berta Papo Calderon, Sylvia Laurie, William Oberfelder, Myra Oring, Priscilla Plofsky, Erwin Richmond, Alan Salzman, Leah Toby Schwartz, and Myrna Tenser. Zecher Tzadik Libracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessings into our lives. Together we say to that, Amen. And in solemn testimony to the unbroken chain of faith which links us the dor vador from one generation to the next, we invite those who are in mourning and those who are observing a yahrzeit to please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 124. 124. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba, Be'alma Yivrach Hirutei, Be'emlich Malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala b'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yahei Shmei Rabba Mavarach Le'olam L'almei Amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shmei Dekudsha Breichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You may be seated. Announcements and schedule of upcoming services. Our daily prayer services are at 8 a.m. and at 6:45 p.m. Prayer services tomorrow morning are at 10 a.m. and at 8:45 p.m. Evening services are online on YouTube. Sunday services are at 9:15 a.m. and on 5:30 p.m. Tomorrow morning, there will be 2 opportunities for Torah study. It will be at 9 a.m. an online Zoom class led by Dr. Bohr on the Parsha. That's the weekly Torah reading. And joining us in person here in the BOM boardroom, please join me for a look at some of the books of the prophets, also at 9 a.m. All of our services can be viewed online on our YouTube page. So if you're looking for prayer services, YouTube. And we'll conclude our prayers tonight on page 16.
Yes. Rabbi Schwartz and Gail are either winging their way to Italy or there already. So I thought that we would honor him by doing something that comes from Italy. Shalom Aleichem Malkei Hasharet Malkei Elyon Malkei Elyon Mimelech Malkei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bohem LeShalom Malkei HaShalom Malkei Elyon Malkei Elyon Melech Malkei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Dil Shalom Malkei HaShalom Malkei Elyon Mimelech Malkei Hamlachim Mimelech Malkei Hamlachim HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Seitchem LaShalom Malkei HaShalom Malkei Elyon Mimelech Malkei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mimelech Malkei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shabbat Shalom.